Hi, I'm David Newberry, and you are watching the Pie Sessions.
1, 2, 3, 4. The work is over, but no sleep tonight. Been cooking up all day to get it right. You're going out to hang out with the band, with the camera and dessert in hand. So let's go talk to the people at the rock show. Let's go talk to the people at the rock show. Make pie not war.
This is Gabriel Green with David Newberry, and you're watching the Pie Sessions.
Hello. Hello.
David's gonna have some pie, and it's as John said earlier, it's Newberry pie.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, that was great. I wish I was that good at it, you know?
This is amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's hard to find rhubarb this time of year, I'm going to be honest with you.
That was actually when I was telling people that I'm doing this, they're like, what kind of pie did you pick? And I was like, strawberry rhubarb. And people actually thought it was mean of me
Yeah.
because they were like, where is she going to get rhubarb? And I was like, West Band.
You're like, West Band, they gotta have it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's West Band.
Yeah,
They're
they have
like
everything
very
there.
demanding out there.
Where did you find it?
Actually in West Band. Right by my work.
There
This
you
is
go.
great.
Mhm.
This is really interesting that I didn't know about you. In the beginning, you injured your hand because you were at work as a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
And you picked up the guitar as a form of physiotherapy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you that story?
yeah, I'm really interested. It's really cool you got into music.
Mm-hmm. It was in 2001, and I was working with my father, and we were installing a window in an old house. And I just messed up. I was wearing a glove while using a table saw, and that glove got caught and pulled my hand into the table saw. And you can see it's like,
yeah,
mashed it all up, and couldn't use my hand. And my physio, I owned a guitar because I was like a boy who was in his 20s, you know. So it was, but I didn't play it much. My physiotherapist suggested that I should. And I couldn't use my hand hardly at all, so I became a bass player in a punk band because you just
Okay.
have to be like do 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 do. And then I just kind of got hooked, and then I started the scene of people that I hung around with were not. They were very anti-cover songs. So if you wanted to kind of roll with those guys, you had to write your own songs, and
Okay.
and so I started doing that, and I dug it, and that's still what I do.
Yeah, see, that's how I got. That's
Do you
a
want
good-
some of this?
No.
Okay.
If I ate all the pies, I would get so pumped. I know, it's good. I don't actually use a lot of sugar in my pies.
It's
You
perfect.
have to make them properly so that they have the sweet and savory. And I actually have a very good friend that's a baker, and he helps me out with a lot of stuff that I'm like, how would I do this and make it still taste really good? In your spare time, you also write and record educational music for Scratch Garden.
Yeah, Scratch Garden is a project. This is interesting. I usually work fairly hard to make sure that people don't find out about that. But my brother and my sister and I have a business called Scratch Garden. We write educational children's songs. We call it kidult music. The idea is that kids will get hooked on it, but it's not really annoying for parents. So it's like contemporary production standards, and we're like, oh, let's make this song about primary colors, a Mumford and Sons song, and it's called Scratch Garden. I think it's scratchgarden.com. It's by far the most successful thing I've ever done as an artist. We have like millions and millions of YouTube views of like Itsy Bitsy Spider.
That's super cool.
I guess, you know.
No, that's really cool. That's an amazing project. So it's obviously really rewarding when you guys get good feedback like that.
Yeah, and I've got I don't have a lot of toddler friends, but the ones that I do, I'm like a little bit of a celebrity for them. More so than I am for like the grown-ups who listen to my grown-up music, who are like, oh, it's David Newberry.
Yeah, right. They're like, oh yeah, it's David Newberry. I've never seen anyone be like, oh, it's David
Oh,
Newberry.
it's David Newberry. I got recognized by a teenage girl at the Lonsdale Quay the other day. That was like a first
So
for me.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like, moment,
I was
snapshot.
like, yes,
time,
I am David Newberry.
Was she teenage that she didn't make it to your show last night? Or-
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, as I get older, like everyone under 26 looks like 12 to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's so she may not have been it. She might have been like 22. I don't know.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So with Scratch Garden, did you guys, I'm sorry, is it a plant
No,
sound
go for
garden?
it.
Because I love the name.
It's not actually. It came from like my brother registered. He wanted to start a gardening blog.
That's awesome.
And so he registered that business, and then the first thing we did was a song about how to grow potatoes in a bucket, called Potatoes in a Bucket. And then he kind of lost steam on the gardening thing, and now we just kind of do like last year we went through the grade 1 curriculum, or the kindergarten curriculum or something, and then we're just kind of moving our way up through the years.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Soundgarden, that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, it's totally a play on Soundgarden.
Soundgarden.
Yeah, basically.
They were like my first CD that I bought.
Really? That's pretty cool.
No, I bought Seal actually. What was your first CD that you bought?
The Beach Boys and Right Side Fred.
That's way cooler than Seal. But who can beat Kiss from a Rose? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good song.
You recently completed the Peak Performance Project.
I did complete the Peak Performance Project.
Yeah, you did. What was... I hear a lot of different stories, so I've never been there, obviously.
Yeah.
So, what was the best thing that you think that your music took away from the Peak Performance Project?
Well, I mean, the Peak Performance Project is like a radio contest in Vancouver, and they ship you away to what they call boot camp for like 9 days. They taught me about sometimes looking at the camera and sometimes looking at the interviewer, but never anywhere else. They really run you through the ringer. So they taught us a lot about songwriting and a lot about performance styles. And I think all of it was really beneficial. I thought I was going to be rolling my eyes at it a lot when somebody's like telling me how to do my stage show, but it was really good feedback. I think the thing that I learned the most, we did a lot of songwriting work with Ryan Goldemond from Mother, and he is a really great pop songwriter. And so I learned a lot about. So the thing I took away about my music was stronger choruses and cooler bridges, basically. There's a lot more. Choruses is something that I've almost never done, essentially. I just kind of say a lot of words and then the song's over. So the new record that I've just finished recording is packed full of it's a lot hookier, and the bridges are weirder.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I can see the influence from him. Yeah, they're
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lovely man.
Yeah, that's cool. So also for speaking of recording, any special rituals or like OCD moments during recording, like or before a show?
Special ritual before a show.
I haven't seen you do anything before a show that's like a special ritual, but
No.
I'm like, maybe you do it backstage.
If there is a secret thing, then I wouldn't tell you because this is a public interview. No, I try to eat a banana.
Okay.
Or a piece of soft fruit.
Potassium.
Yeah, so I'm not hungry, but I'm not like, it's not like I just ate like a giant bowl of pho or something. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Do you have a specific like environment you like to record in? Like, some people really enjoy their parents' basement, some people enjoy their room, but some people like to go to the studio and have someone else there constantly.
Yeah, I like a bit of both. I mean, I did most of my writing for this record in a tiny little room in the basement of my house, where I've left that house now, but it was just this room. I mean, it was like maybe this big. And I just see that I spilled some pie. It just had a desk, and it was beside the furnace room, and it wasn't underneath anything, so I could do that at any time of the day. Okay. And it was a really cold room, and I wanted to leave a guitar in it, so I bought like a tiny parlor guitar for like $27 at a pawn shop, and left it down there, and it was a really terrible guitar. So more than places though, actually, like I like to do all of my writing on really crappy instruments.
Okay.
I don't quite know why. I find I write better. I think maybe it's like a little bit of. It's a lot less precious. Like there's no way it's gonna sound perfect. So
that's a good idea. Actually.
So then I get a little bit less like, oh, it has to be perfect when I'm a little bit more free when I'm just like playing a piece of crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's raw, so it allows you to really focus on the lyrics. And
and not be so worried about if it's perfect yet, because that can be really a mobilizing thing for writers. You know, if you're just like if you're already self-filtering before you've even got partway into the song, you're just never going to get anywhere. So
touring, where is a place you've stopped on tour that's maybe had an impact on you, or made an impression on your music?
This last summer, I did a tour of southern Alberta, which is gorgeous. I totally fell in love with the place. We had some extreme weather events every single day. But we were in High River, which is like a suburb of Calgary.
Okay.
And it was the place that was hit hardest by the flood that happened a year and a bit ago. And while I was there, I met a young couple that were from Calgary that had come to High River in secret because they were having an affair.
Oh, wow.
And
Are we allowed to out this on?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I say this at every show. And so, but there's a level of irony in High River being leveled by the flood. I mean, it's a suburb of Calgary. Calgary is the place that has all the head offices of the companies that are running the oil sands, that are changing the climate, and then an extreme weather event took place that kind of leveled this area. And then for me, the affair story and the flood irony kind of layered on top of each other and became sort of the same story about the consequences of consequenceless living. And so then I ended up writing a song about that called Replacement Things, which is going to be on the record, which is the name of the record. So I would say that was an impactful, it was a town that had an impact on my music.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good story.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that your favorite tour story? Because it's the most.
It's the favorite one that I'm like gonna tell.
Have you bought any weird trinkets while you've been on tour?
I buy all kinds of weird things when I'm on tour. I try to get like kitschy stuff that's old with the name of the town that I am in on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of weird books that I'll never read that just like take up space in the van as if like that's something that I need to do.
You should give them to people. That should be your thing for birthdays. You should like give these really cool, weird books that are like pointless for people for birthdays. So I feel like, I don't know, I think that was a cool birthday gift. To be like, how to raise ducks. I'd be like, awesome! Like,
absolutely. Actually,
I'd never be able to find this in a normal bookstore.
The best one that I found was a little book from the 70s that was like, I think it was a joke, but it's hard to tell. And it was just like 101 ways to cook hot dogs into different things.
That's amazing.
So my favorite one was called Doggy Balls, and you grind up the hot dogs and you mix it with eggs and breadcrumbs, and then you form them into meatballs, and then you fry them, and then you eat them.
Have you ever tried that?
No, I haven't tried any of them, but I wanted to make a YouTube cooking show that was going to be called The Road Dog Cafe Presents Doggy Balls with David Newberry, and two dog puns in one thing, and then I was gonna do this. It was gonna be like the pie sessions,
but with food that you've cooked.
Yeah, so we would cook it together, and then the band would play a song, and then we would eat it together. And every time they would be like, "This is terrible. Why did you cook this for me?" But I haven't got around to it yet. Maybe soon. Absolutely. Maybe I can borrow your team.
Yeah, please. But when are you going to Toronto, though? This is the sad question.
When am I going to Toronto?
This is the question.
Very quickly.
So would we have to fly to Toronto to do the cooking show?
Yeah, you would. But maybe I'll get a budget. Yeah.
Yeah, we could make a road trip out, and we'll just all stay with my family so that we can afford it.
Yeah, definitely. Even me. I'll just move in.
That's amazing.
I'll sublet for the time that you're there.
That's fantastic. What was the hardest thing, I guess, about like, because I know you do travel a lot. You do a lot of benefit shows. You're like the busiest man I've ever met.
I keep pretty busy
in my life. What are some hobbies that you like try and find time for as well that aren't just music related? I know you do benefit shows and stuff, which is super cool of you. And like, how do you find time to fit in like hobbies and stuff?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, you don't.
No, I don't. Yeah, I just. I mean, my what I do for fun is go and watch other people play music.
Okay.
Who's
someone recently that you've really enjoyed watching?
Oh man, I've seen two great shows in the last couple of weeks in Vancouver.
Okay.
One is a free jazz trio called Sick Boss.
Okay.
And they put on a show at a little place called the Lido that had so it was sort of like free jazz and then two improvisational dancers. Cool. Which sounds tacky, but it was just like it was really moving. And then I saw the Four on the Floor string quartet is a string quartet in Vancouver, and they do this thing called String Fling where they orchestrate like pop songs by 8 singers in town, and then they just put on. That was an incredible show.
String Fling.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never been, but I wanted to go.
It was amazing.
Yeah. How was your show last night?
My show last night, I played at Imperial last night. It was awesome. It was great. It was a jam-packed house. The sound in there is awesome. Yeah. And it was the last show that I'm playing with this particular band for a while, and I love those guys dearly. So it was an emotional affair, but also one that was a ton of fun for us. I think it was probably one of the best shows that we played together. So, yeah.
When you are trying to find like people to play with, etc., like in Toronto, how do you go about doing that?
I just want to find the people that are the best.
Yeah.
Like,
do you go on Craigslist and you're like, come audition for me? Or
yeah,
like, do you do,
yeah, totally. Yeah. I do a reality TV show, and it's called Making the Band.
Making the Newberry Band.
Making the Newberry Band. No, I mean I'm musically connected to Toronto as well, so I just kind of called. I've got a residency right when I arrived, doing a weekly show at the Cameron House, and I just kind of called friends there. I try to get people who play different kinds of music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, similar or different. So why
Totally
do you do
different.
that?
Well, because I think that if because why play with people who play what you already play, right? So I mean, I want to be like expanding outward always.
Okay.
So yeah, if I'm playing with, like, the drummer that I'm currently playing with is a free jazz drummer. The bass player is also a jazz kind of guy, and the guitar player is way more on the rock side of things than me. And then when I go to Toronto, I'm playing with like a monster piano player and a drummer.
So just give it like a completely different sound.
Completely different sound. Yeah, I've never been interested in being a jukebox of myself, which I think is a bad career move. I think people get upset when they don't hear what they want to hear. But
you're kind of like Bob Dylan like that. Every time he comes to town, he's playing like all his music different. I'm like, is this like a Rolling Stone?
Yeah. That is. Yeah, I think I was like 50% of the way into Tangled Up in Blue before I was like, oh. But it makes me so happy when that happens.
It does. Me
and
too.
Because you can go home and listen to my record really loud. You know, like you can do that, and that I want the concert experience to be something else, to be like discovering new things. And so the same songs presented with a 5-piece rock band, or with like a drummer with a cocktail kit and a piano player is exciting for me, and I hope for people.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because if I was going to get bored, I should be making more money. You know, like it's.
What are you going to do about Scratch Garden though? Are you and your brother and sister still going to be doing this together?
Oh yeah, they're there.
They're in Toronto
They're
already?
in Toronto. Yeah, we all grew up there. Yeah, so that's.
So you're like, well.
We're reuniting.
So then you're gonna do more work. Mm-hmm. I want to like get this up on. I'm gonna actually right now have the webpage down below so you can check this out, because this sounds like the best for people that have children that want to listen to music but not old MacDonald Had a Farm 100 times in a row. So I guess you're going to Toronto. So what's your famous last words for the pie sessions? We've been trying to put this together, by the way, for like, I don't know.
A couple of years. Yeah. My famous last words for the pie sessions.
They have to be good, because it's been
I know.
This
is. I don't know if I saw the sunrise this morning.
That's your words.
Yeah.
I saw the sunrise this morning.
No, I mean this. I'm not in the shape to be like making like I saw the sunrise from the wrong direction. You know, when you're just like, oh, the sunrise is there. So you know, I mean, Vancouver has been such a wonderful place to play music, and you know, I've learned so much. I'm really grateful for it. I don't know, it's not very good famous last words though.
No, those are nice. David Newberry with his famous last words for the pie sessions, which is just gonna be like a bite of pie.
Since I've been growing, I've been told there's no way outside this mold, and everything I ever saw tells me that's an iron law. I don't want to see, no, I don't want to watch, I don't want to say what I think anymore, but I don't want to not. power is, what power does, the losing side's what it always was. Some are lost and some are found, and the gain inside is gaining ground. In the race for the finish, yeah, in the passing of the light, oh, I don't want to say what I think anymore, but I still think that I might. Hey, we are lying down again. Hey, at the passing of a friend round here, we all dress up like grown men, but we're acting like kids. Now truth is the subject. At the end of my quill, I don't want to say what I think anymore, but I probably will. Since I've been growing, I've been told there's no way outside this mold, and everything I ever saw tells me